My name is Valerie Caney. I'm 31 years old. And if you think this story is about a car, you're wrong. This is about what happens when the family that underestimated your worth finally learns that everything comes with a price. And the ink was barely dry on the $16 million contract I had just helped close in Europe when my phone buzzed. A message from my neighbor back home. "Savannah, did you know your car is gone? Saw your brother driving it yesterday." My stomach dropped. That car wasn't just transportation. It was the first major thing I bought after climbing out of debt. A symbol of survival. Proof that I had rebuilt my life. And now it was gone. The moment I landed back in the States, I drove straight to my parents' house. The second I walked through the door, I saw it in my mother's face. Guilt, carefully disguised as authority. "He needed it more," she said flatly. "You've always had enough." Always had enough. As if success erased the years I spent working 3 jobs. As if sacrifice made me less deserving of respect. As if everything I earned belonged to everyone but me. My brother stood behind her, arms crossed, smug and silent. To him, my effort was available. My boundaries were optional. My success was community property. I set my suitcase down and looked them both in the eye. Then I said 6 words. The deal wasn't in my name. The room went silent. My mother blinked. My brother frowned. I dropped my passport on the table. "The contract was secured under the company's name," I said calmly, "which means the assets tied to that deal weren't personal." He shifted uneasily. "What does that have to do with the car?" I held up my phone. "The vehicle you decided to pawn? It was listed as collateral connected to an international agreement." My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My brother's confidence cracked. "You thought you were taking a car," I said. "You tampered with business property." No one spoke. For the first time, they realized I wasn't the one who had lost something. They were. And the next morning, the bank called. "Miss Caney, we're contacting you regarding an unauthorized transaction involving registered collateral." I sipped my coffee and looked out over the skyline. "I'll cooperate fully," I said, "but I wasn't in the country. You'll need to speak with the people who handled it." There was a pause. "So you're saying family members acted without your consent?" "Yes." By noon, investigators were already at my parents' front door. I didn't need to be there. Years earlier, I had installed security cameras outside the property. The footage streamed straight to my phone. My mother's voice trembled. "There must be some mistake. It was just a car." The investigator answered professionally. "Ma'am, this involves registered collateral. We need accurate information." My brother stepped in quickly. "We'll sort it out. She won't make this a big deal." That was when I started recording. Every word, every excuse, every admission. That evening, I returned to the house. The confidence was gone. I placed my phone on the table and pressed play. Their own voices filled the room. When the recording ended, my brother slammed his hand down. "You wouldn't use that against us." I stayed calm. Family only seems to matter when you're in trouble. My mother reached for my hand. "Valerie, we didn't know it was connected to anything important." I pulled back. It was important because it was mine. My father finally spoke. "You have the resources. You can fix this." I laughed softly. "You confused access with obligation." Then I stood. "I'll provide the truth. What happens next is up to the people reviewing it." And I walked out. The next 48 hours changed everything. Paperwork was reviewed, signatures were verified, records were matched. My brother's name appeared on the pawn documents. My mother had signed as guarantor. They hadn't just crossed a line, they had documented it. My phone exploded with messages. "Don't do this. We're family. You're being selfish. Selfish. That word almost made me smile. Where was that outrage when I was sleeping in my car at 22 while family money was poured into my brother's business ideas? Where was fairness then? I met with the investigators downtown. I handed over the recording and supporting documents. One of them nodded. Thank you, Miss Kane. This helps clarify the situation. When I left the building, my sister-in-law texted me, "If he loses everything, it's your fault." I replied with one sentence. He made his choices. I'm just not covering for them anymore. The story spread quickly. Mutual friends reached out. Some apologized. Some admitted they never knew the full picture. Some simply said they were proud of me for standing up for myself. For once, the whispers weren't about me. They were about them. When I drove past my parents' house later that week, the blinds were closed. The driveway was empty. The house that once felt so loud had gone quiet. And somehow, that silence said everything. 3 days later, the begging began. My mother texted again and again. Please stop this. Your brother could lose everything. Come home. We'll do anything. Too late. Too late was every birthday they forgot while celebrating him. Too late was every time I was told to be understanding. Too late was the moment they decided my hard work belonged to someone else. That same evening, I attended a gala hosted by the company behind the European deal. The CEO raised a glass in my honor. He praised my discipline, leadership, and results. The room applauded, and for the first time in years, I felt fully seen. Not as a daughter, not as a sister, not as a backup plan, as myself. That night, there was a quiet knock at my apartment door. I opened it. My mother stood there, tired and shaken. No jewelry, no performance, just regret. We've lost everything, she whispered. Please stop this. I looked at her for a long moment. Then I said the truth I should have said years earlier. You once told me I'd always had enough. That was your excuse to take from me. I stepped back. But what I never had was respect. And that's something no one can steal twice. Behind her, my brother stood in the hallway, silent, unable to meet my eyes. I placed my hand on the door. You didn't just lose the car, I said softly. You lost me. Then I closed the door. And the silence that followed wasn't emptiness. It was freedom.